Good evening. Welcome to the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners Town Hall meeting for October the 7th, 2024. It is now 7 p.m. and I'm going to call the roll. Commissioner Rutledge.
Here.
Commissioner Chismar.
Here.
Commissioner Taylor.
Here.
And Commissioner Chance did let me know that she would be unable to join us this evening. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First up is the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move to approve the agenda.
Thank you, Commissioner Rutledge. Do I have a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, I second.
Thank you. Any discussion of the agenda this evening?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to amend the agenda as stated here. I would like to remove paragraph 5A, or item 5A, which is a certificate of recognition to Rabbi Schuster for the groundbreaking breaking of their Harford Haven Shabbat. I understand he's not here tonight, so we'll postpone this to another.
Correct. That's my
Right.
understanding. He is evacuating his daughter from Florida,
There
so
we go.
certainly he needs to be there and not here. We can do this on another day. Do I have a second for that motion?
Second.
All right. And Mr. Krantz, can we have the vote on the amendment?
Were there any other changes?
Any other
Sorry.
changes to the agenda?
Pardon me?
Mr. Krantz
Oh,
wants to know if there are
change.
any other changes to the agenda.
Oh, yes, there is one change. And I apologize, the patrol vehicle accessory package will have to be removed from the agenda. We had some modifications that unfortunately I would not be able to get done before this meeting, so,
That's all right.
thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Is that the vehicles also, or?
No, the vehicles will stay. We
Okay.
can take care of that.
Okay.
It's just 8G, which is the accessory
ma'am.
packages. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chismar, would you like to?
Yes, I move that we amend the agenda and remove item 8G, which is the Bel Air Police Department Patrol Vehicle Accessory Package Purchase Request,
As well as 5A.
as well as 5A.
Thank you.
Correct.
Mr. Krantz?
Second.
Thank you.
With no further discussion, we'll vote on the amended agenda for this evening. Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
The agenda is approved. Thank you.
We voted the
Oh.
amendment. Now we have to vote on the amended agenda.
Gotcha. All right. The agenda is approved as amended. Now to approve this evening's agenda for October 7th, 2024 at 7 p.m. here at Bel Air Town Hall, Board of Town Commissioners meeting. Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
The agenda is approved. Thank you.
All right, next is the approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I move that the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meetings held on September 16th, 2024 be approved as submitted, including both the open and closed meetings.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. Do I have a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, I second.
Any discussion of the minutes? No? All right, in that case, Mr. Krantz, we're ready.
Okay, thank you. Approval of the minutes from September 16th. Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
The minutes are approved.
Thank you. Moving on to presentations. First, we're going to present Priscilla, or Penny Gindra, as she's known to most of us, a certificate of recognition. If you could join me at the podium. It's nice to have you here. Thank you so much. We have a certificate of recognition. Whereas Priscilla Penny Gindra has dedicated 18 years of exemplary service on the Town of Bel Air Board of Election Judges, demonstrating unwavering commitment to her role and the integrity of the electoral process. And whereas throughout her tenure, Penny has ensured the accuracy, transparency, and fairness of each election, upholding the values of democracy and fostering trust within the community. And whereas her diligence, professionalism, and tireless work have contributed to the smooth and efficient operation of the town's elections, serving as a model of civic duty and public service. And whereas Penny's contributions have had a lasting effect on the town, ensuring that each citizen's vote is counted accurately and fairly, thereby preserving the integrity of the electoral process. Now therefore, it is resolved by the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners, and on behalf of the Town of Bel Air, its municipal staff and citizens, we hereby express our deepest gratitude to Priscilla Penny Gindra for her outstanding service, dedication, and commitment to her community over the past 18 years. I just want to say thank you very much, because without the election judges, the electoral process would not be the smooth-running machine that it has always been in the town of Bel Air. We really appreciate your 18 years of service. And I think we're going to take a photo. All right, would you like to join us? Absolutely. Team effort. We will have you hold your certificate. Any other pictures you'd like to take? Any other family members here? No, just the two of us. Good. Well, thank you very much. 18 years is a long time. All right, next, the man of the hour, Senior Officer Rick Kraus. Just in the nick of time, yes.
At least he's not late.
I have to say, you were looking very, very sharp.
Greetings, everybody. Here tonight to honor Senior Officer Rick Kraus on another fantastic and incredible award that he's gotten, and this might be the one that kind of like reaches the top of what you've done, and he's gotten a lot of awards in the past. This guy here does amazing work in the police department. We all know him, his other name, Fit Rick, that everybody is very familiar with, and he's got his vest on, so he can't show his muscles here tonight. But again, he's a role model, incredible role model in the community, a motivator. He gets us all to lose weight. Very fit guy, recruiter, and even an incredible lifeguard. So how many lives have you saved this year at the beach? That's his part-time job. At least one that I know of. 10 and a successful CPR. Yep, incredible stuff. And his family, I got to say thank you very much for lending him to us. He's also a super dedicated family guy, and he's the ultimate example of what a cop should be for all of us, to include me. So this award here from Mr. Benkin, who is a representative from the National Life Group. That group does work throughout the country in annuities, financial stuff, and you were an agent there yourself. And they recognize people like Rick Kraus, public servants, EMS, fire, police, that go above and beyond the call of duty. And that's what they found in the nomination for Rick. He in turn sent the nomination up to his corporate people. They come up with a monthly award winner every month, and that award winner in turn gets an opportunity to give $1,000 to a donation of their choice. So Ryan was so inspired by law enforcement. I got to give you some kudos. How long were you an agent with National Life Group?
I've been there now 3.5 years.
3.5 years. So he's so inspired by the work of public servants that he decided himself to become a law enforcement officer, and he's currently now an officer in training down in the Baltimore Police Academy, and he is signed up with the Havre Grace Police Department. We won't hold that against him because it's a beautiful town too, and it's in Harford County, so we're going to reap the rewards from you being an officer there. But you're here, got a little presentation for Rick, or do you want the mayor to go first? Or you want to? Oh, yes, ma'am. There you go.
I'll go first
Yes,
and
ma'am.
read the certificate. Exemplary service presented to Senior Officer Rick Kraus. This award is being presented to Senior Officer Rick Kraus for being the recipient of the Do Good Heroes Award. Senior Officer Kraus has been employed with the Bel Air Police Department for 20 years, where he has served his community with honor and distinction. He is also a veteran of the U.S. Army. Senior Officer Kraus has been on the forefront of school and community policing, where he leads our Thriving Explorer program, providing leadership and instruction to youth ranging from 14 to 21 years of age. Additionally, Senior Officer Kraus spearheads the Explorer Youth Summer Camp annually. In addition to his extraordinary community service, Senior Officer Kraus works summers as a lifeguard with the Ocean City Beach Patrol, where he has served for 10 years. Senior Officer Kraus is the most widely recognized school resource officer in Harford County, and his continued recognitions for excellence is well deserved. We're proud to have Senior Officer Kraus with the Bel Air Police Department, and his achievements during his tenure are a true testament to his leadership and genuine love for the community he serves. Extraordinary job, Senior Officer Rick Kraus. And on a personal experience note, one school morning, I happened to be at the corner of Leeway and Hickory, where the kids all cross on their way to elementary school in the morning. Officer Rick Kraus was not there that morning. He was busy doing something else. All of the children and their parents were like, "Where's Officer Kraus? Where's Officer Kraus? Is he okay?" We were like, the other officers that were there handling school crossing that morning said, "Oh, he's fine. He's just doing something else." But it was really heartwarming to see how much they cared about Officer Kraus, and they wanted to know where he was. So they really look forward to seeing you.
So my information will overlap a little bit, and I'll go off script a little bit as well. So, thank you for having me today. Again, my name is Ryan Benkin. I'm a financial advisor with National Life Group. And so the Do Good Heroes Award came out the beginning of 2023. And so the firm had a Life Changer of the Year award for teachers for a long time. And then there were some talks about this Do Good Heroes. And so when I first started this award, there were talks about it, and a year later it came out. And so my dad is a retired NYPD, so when I heard about this award, I knew that it would be a part of my practice. And so I'm just happy to say that at this point, this is our 5th recognition, recognizing all of the jurisdictions in Harford County and Baltimore County to date, with many more to come, hopefully. So it's a program that lets representatives like myself recognize fire, rescue, and EMS. Each month, like the chief said, nominees are selected to receive cash awards. So the recognition comes monthly, and so there's 5 winners each month, and the grand prize winner, which Rick is the recipient of, is due to all of the work that he does and the really great nomination that was put together. He'll receive a $1,000 cash prize to donate to the Child Life Program from the University of Maryland Medical Center's Pediatric Oncology Department. Some of the things that the mayor had already spoke to with regards to his 20-year anniversary and the work that you do in the schools, with regards, and also to the work that you do at the beach, but also just wanted to dig in a little deeper here about the Explorer Youth Camp. It's a low-cost child care alternative program for children ages 8 to 14. The camp, which fills up quickly each year, offers daily drills, games, and lessons, and culminates with a graduation ceremony. The funds raised from the camp tuition are redirected towards the Explorer program and scholarship funding for explorers pursuing college education. You've also established a strong partnership with the Bel Air Lions Club and host an annual child safety fair that focuses on child identification and safety. So in summary, you're an extraordinary example of service and leadership for all to follow. Thank you for embodying what it means to be a National Life Group Do Good hero, and for exemplifying National Life's group mission, do good, be good, make good. Please continue to make a positive impact on the lives around us and keep up the great work. Thank you.
Gotta hold both of them. So we recruited you as well, huh?
They did.
Nice to meet you. So, thank you. Thank you. So what a recruiter. Not only has he signed up, but he's got a pipeline going through the Police Explorers Club, and he got Ryan here to leave his current employment, and he's going to be an officer in Havre de Grace. So that says something about Rick Kraus. Absolutely. Not only is he a terrific police officer, I hear he's a great dancer, too, with his wife.
That's right.
I'd like to thank my wife for everything. And also, my stepson Drew, who's getting ready to go into the Navy. Give him a round of applause. Good stuff. And of course, I'm going to dedicate this to my daughter who did crush cancer. No big deal. So, thanks again. Oh, we got some more explorers up here. Come on, guys. Come on up. Oh, my goodness. Thank you. It's even better of a surprise. Good job. Thanks for coming, guys. My explorers, Ben, Caleb, Rachel, and Riley. All right, even better.
So somebody's going to take a picture of this, right?
Should we like have everyone step up here with the, or wait a minute, we want this background.
You want the background?
Want this background, yep. Definitely.
Yeah. Tag 'em up. Don't
Come on, Match, I'll hide in the back.
I'll stand in front of you.
Stand with-
Thank you.
Team effort, good job.
Normally, we would offer cake, but that's just not in his diet.
All right. Next up on our agenda is the public hearing on ordinance 833-24, amending Chapter 165, the Comprehensive Plan and Development Regulations, Part 2 zoning, Article 2, Administration and Enforcement, Section 165-17, Economic and Community Development Commission regarding membership. Mr. Krantz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is for the public hearing. Just as a refresher, there was an inconsistency regarding the ECDC membership that was discovered in Section 165-17, which failed to mention that the ECDC shall consist of an odd number of members, but not fewer than 5 nor more than 9, as outlined in Section 10.5 of the Town Code. So essentially, this is a very simple ordinance that's just going to align the sections of the code with those not fewer than 5 nor more than 9 language. And the staff recommends approval of this ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. Krantz. So essentially, it's a housekeeping matter and won't make any changes to the current commission. All right. Is there any member of the public here that wishes to address this piece of legislation? Nope. All right. In that case, we will close the public hearing at 7:18 p.m. and move on to unfinished business, which is ordinance 833-24, amending Chapter 165, Comprehensive Plan and Development Regulations, Part 2 zoning, Article 2, Administration and Enforcement, Section 165-17, Economic and Community Development Commission regarding membership. Do I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I move that ordinance number 833-24, amending Bel Air Town Code, Chapter 165, Comprehensive Plan and Development Regulations, Part 2 zoning, Article 2, Administration and Enforcement, Section 165-17, Economic and Community Development Commission regarding membership be approved by the Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Rutledge. Do I have a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Chismar. Any discussion on this piece of legislation?
Does anyone need the title read to them again?
I think we've read that enough times that people know what piece we're talking about. And it is such a long title. No discussion? All right.
No.
In that case, Mr. Krantz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is for the vote on ordinance 833-24. Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
The ordinance is passed. Thank you.
Terrific, thank you. Under new business, we have ordinance 834-24, amending the sign regulations for construction sites. Do I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I recommend that, or I move that ordinance number 834-22, revised Town Code, Chapter 165, Article 15, related to signs, be received by the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners.
And I think you meant ordinance 834-24.
Okay?
It'd be in
If I didn't-
2024.
Was I in a dyslexic mode then? Okay.
I heard 22, so.
Okay.
All right. Do I have a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, I second that.
All right, and this would be Mr. Small.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The regulation of signage is enabled through code text found in Town of Bel Air Development Regulations, Chapter 165, Part 3, Article 15. And in that article, Section 165-107, entitled Temporary Signs, currently provides requirements for properties under construction. And Section 165-109, entitled Exemptions, provides for exclusions from the code for specific signs. Properties under construction contain various images, lettering. Let me start over. Properties under construction contain signs which have various images, lettering, and graphics that require analysis regarding whether or not they are regulated under Part 3 of the code. Issues regarding construction materials, barriers for safety, and screens for security become entangled in the development regulations that complicates both the interpretation by staff and the adherence to the code by developers and contractors. Section 165-107, which currently restricts signs on properties under construction, is proposed to be amended to remove limits on construction-related signs on commercially zoned properties only. Residentially zoned properties would retain the existing restrictions, and 165-109 would add that commercial properties under construction to be designated as exempt from the regulations. Any property under construction may place a sign without permit, without regard to size, number, or height, provided it is directly related to the approved construction activity, including safety materials and security measures. Any sign which creates a hazard to the public or is not properly maintained would be subject to action by the town. Signs not related to construction would fall under the temporary sign section for underlying zones. Staff recommends ordinance 834-24, amending section 165-107, temporary signs, and section 165-109, exemptions, be received by the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners. And I believe there would be a public hearing on the 4th of November. I'm just confirming that, yeah.
Okay.
That's correct, yes, November 4th.
All right. Any discussion by the board members?
No, I think at the work session, we addressed many of these things. I mean, the signage associated with the building materials and the screening and the silt fences and things like that, you know, it's just, like you said, it's just too hard to actually legislate and whatever. So, and it's not, and it's just a temporary thing. So I think it's, you know, if it's related to the project, I think it's a good thing. And actually, I think some of the screening that goes over the security fences that have a depiction of the actual project itself is much more pleasant looking than the construction site itself looking through a chain link fence. So I think it's a good way to change this reg.
I would echo Mr. Rutledge's comments from the work session that I thought were pretty sage. You know, this is not an area where we're looking to jam anybody up. Certainly don't want to cause anybody headaches on this front while they're in the middle of investing in the town. There are other areas where we, you know, ought to be spending man hours and manpower in the planning department. More important things to worry about, more important things to tend to. So I think this is a good reform.
I agree, and I know it has been a headache for you. When does it cross from being construction materials into being a sign? You know, what is a sign? So I appreciate that it will not be a difficulty that you have to wrestle with any longer. My one question on the ordinance is page 3, 1, be it further ordained from the bottom, says, be it further ordained that this ordinance shall be not applicable to any project which has obtained open space fee in lieu approval from the planning commission. I'm thinking that was an artifact from something else. Okay, that's okay. We'll handle that, I think, when it comes up on the public hearing, and we'll move to strike that. But I thought that was an artifact. I just wanted to confirm. And also, just for clarity, in case anybody missed it, you won't need any permit. If your plumber comes with
Yep.
whatever, if it falls in this exemption, you don't have to be concerned that your electrician with his safety equipment or whoever.
Right. You're
Okay.
correct.
All right. Any further discussion from the board?
Madam Chair, yes, I think it's a pragmatic step in the right direction to not put any further economic barriers up, on the development of the town with regard to, once the project is approved, it's up and running. I think, Godspeed to them, and the less that we get in their way, the better. I think that's the way to proceed on this. I think it's certainly prudent to carve it out the way that the proposal is, so, the exemption doesn't apply in the residential zones. So I think it's good. Just from a procedural standpoint, Madam Chair, I was just, there was a motion to receive this ordinance
Correct.
as drafted. You don't think it would be appropriate for us to go ahead and amend that, to strike, to receive it with the amendment of, what would procedurally be, we could just amend that, be it further ordained about the open space, just be deleted now procedurally? It's just a question.
We certainly could do that. If that is what the board thinks would be prudent, I'd be happy to make a motion to reconsider. Although we haven't actually voted, so we don't need to do that. In that case, because we didn't vote on the motion to receive, correct?
We have not.
Right. So in that case, because the motion to receive is outstanding, I will just make a motion to amend ordinance 83-24 to strike the second to last, be it further ordained paragraph from B to ordinance.
Thank you. Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion on that? I think we're all in accord with striking that. All right, so I'm going to take public comment at this time. Is there any member of the public that wishes to speak to this piece of legislation?
Good evening. Wayne Goddard, 12805. Before I speak to this legislation, I'd like to just congratulate Officer Kraus and echo the sentiment of what he's made for the police department we have in the town of Bel Air, as well as the public works. We've been undertaking a couple smaller projects, and everybody in the town has been absolutely amazing.
I do think we're going to need to turn on that microphone. I don't think it's on. Is it on?
Let me see.
Is there supposed to be a light on or something?
Here you go.
There
That's
you
on,
go.
that's on.
There you go.
Anyway, hopefully everyone in the town could hear that we're just really pleased to be partners with you guys on these projects. And Mr. Klein, Chief, everybody, Kevin, you guys have been incredibly helpful to us on these very challenging projects on Broadway particularly. That building is killing us. Anyway, but we're going to win. Thank you for bringing forth this legislation. As you probably know, I heard the work session, and I was one of the people that had brought it to the attention of Mr. Small that we have a problem because the OSHA requires a debris screen for any scaffolding over 25 feet. So just about all the vendors that we deal with are used to working on more larger projects, and all of them have imprinted their logos on these debris screens. In addition, the projects that we typically work on outside of Harford County, we like to use a privacy screen for many of the same reasons that Mayor Edding had mentioned, it's for privacy, it's for security, people aren't looking at what you have there, but it's also for safety as well, because the debris screen that we use, much like the debris screen on the scaffolding, has a very strong mesh that actually holds debris from being blown out. Like, for example, when we demolish the building at 128 North Bond, there could be some flying debris. There definitely will be dust, and this helps to contain all of that. And as Commissioner Chismar pointed out, it's a lot more attractive than just having either an open fence or a blank slate. But also, one of the important aspects of these screens, and they cost between $5,000 and $10,000 to have them made, is it provides information to the community, and it generates excitement for the project, and it allows people to understand exactly what's going to go there, because as many of you have seen, in the day and age of social media, if you don't tell someone exactly what you're doing, they will speculate what you're doing, and they will never speculate that it's going to be better than it is. It's always speculated to be worse than it is. So this ordinance, in addition to taking some uncertainty out of the code, also provides a function of information to the public, safety to the public, and aesthetics benefits to the community. The way it's written is perfect. Whoever did it did a great job. It's clear, it's concise, it applies to commercial zones, so you don't have to worry about anybody putting a big banner up in front of their house or anything of that nature. I think it does have enough discretion grafted into it so that if somebody tried to use obscenity or something that was very offensive, that Mr. Small or anybody else could throw a flag on that. So thank you very much for drafting it, whoever did it, or if it was a team effort, you guys did a great job, and I would encourage you to vote in favor of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Goddard. All right, so now we are going to vote on the amendment.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. This is for the vote to remove the second "be it further ordained" applicable regarding open space, the artifact from a previous document. Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
Okay, ordinance 834-24 is amended.
And now we are going to vote on receiving the amended ordinance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So to receive ordinance 834-24 as amended, Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
834-24 is received, and the public hearing will be on November 4th here at Town Hall.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. Small, for your work in drafting this. We appreciate your efforts. I think this is a case of the code having to catch up with what's become a common business practice. Next, under new business, we have Resolution 1239-24, holiday parking, temporarily suspending parking fines and meter rates on all public streets in the town of Bel Air from November 28th, which is Thanksgiving Day, through January the 1st, 2025. Do I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I will very merrily make the motion that resolution number 1239-24, temporarily suspending parking fines and meter rates, thereby providing free parking at on-street metered parking spaces on all public streets in the town of Bel Air from November 28th, 2024 through January 1st, 2025, be approved by the Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. Do I have a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, I second.
Thank you. And Mr. Krantz?
Thank you, Madam Chair. It has been customary to provide free parking in the town of Bel Air to facilitate and encourage more citizens to patronize downtown Bel Air businesses, shops, and restaurants during the upcoming busy holiday season. This year, town staff recommends providing free parking at on-street metered parking spaces on all public streets in the town from November 28th, 2024 through January 1st, 2025. And staff would recommend approval of this resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Krantz. Any questions for Mr. Krantz? No?
Yeah,
All right. In that case, is there any public comment on this particular piece of legislation? There being none, Mr. Krantz, I think we're ready.
Thank you. For the approval of Resolution 1239-24, Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
The resolution is approved. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I think we're looking forward to that holiday season. Next is Resolution 1240-24, amending Resolution 1225-24, restrictive parking zones. Do I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I move that resolution number 1240-24, amending resolution number 1225-24, restrictive parking zones, be approved by the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Rutledge. Do I have a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, I second.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Small.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chapter 450-03 of the Bel Air Town Code allows the Board of Town Commissioners to designate restrictive parking zones in town. Resolution 342 has been modified many times over the years as additional zones are added and others are revised or eliminated. The regulation applies to the prohibition of parking on designated streets or the maximum period a vehicle can be parked on a street and in public areas controlled by the town. Review by the Neighborhood Transportation Management Program Committee and proactive safety review by town staff have necessitated the proposed amendments to the existing legislation to accommodate this resolution. First item is to prohibit parking on the east and west sides of McPhail Road from its intersection with Tollgate Road to the intersection with Maryland Route 24 to address pedestrian safety, visibility, and add bike lanes called for by the comprehensive plan. Next item is to prohibit parking on the east side of Franklin Street, 125 feet from Broadway, and 111 feet from Broadway on the west side to address the need for safe maneuvering of vehicles at this intersection. Third and last is to revise 2 spaces on the east side of Hickory Avenue nearest Lee Way to be dedicated as police business only to allow for appropriate public access and allow for those spaces to be available at all times. These adjustments are designed to accommodate desire to restrict parking along busy roads such as McPhail and provide maximum level of safety and efficiency. Changes along Franklin Street will maximize the turning movements from Broadway and increase visibility, especially as it's related to emergency vehicles, snow plows, trash trucks, and buses. Adjustments to parking in front of the police station will ensure convenient access of the public to the police department. Staff recommends that Resolution 1240-24 be approved by the Board of Town Commissioners. And I would add that we did send letters to the property owners at the corner of Franklin and Broadway.
Thank you, Mr. Small.
I have 2 questions regarding the McPhail changes. The first is, I remember discussing reaching out to the folks across from the hospital. Did we do that?
We did not.
Okay.
What I got from the discussion was that it wasn't necessary only because the area between where the emergency services turn in and Route 24 is already restricted for parking.
And I think that's a good call. The second question is about the bike lanes, which I know is not the central issue here, but just a question that I had. About how much would bike lanes remove from that stretch of McPhail? We'll start with that. In
Right.
terms of
Pavement width?
navigable space, yeah, width.
Each bike lane would be 5 feet wide, and that would leave probably a little bit more area for
Right.
for cars to maneuver, which is actually a plus for that particular road.
I would absolutely agree. And what would those bike lanes connect to? Are there connecting bike lanes?
The county has plans to do bike lanes on Tollgate Road.
Okay.
I can't say when that'll happen,
Right.
but, and also we plan to continue that across to the other side of Route 24 and eventually connect through the campus, which is also called for not only by our bicycle and pedestrian plan, but also the county's bicycle and pedestrian plan.
So across Route 24?
Cross Route 24. Now,
Okay.
when you get near an intersection, you don't have a bike lane that goes
Right.
through. It kind of disappears, and then the bikes have to maneuver their way,
Yeah.
into an appropriate location, kind of in line with the vehicles. Then they would proceed across,
Right.
and then they would get back into the bike lane again.
Certainly something to think about as we move forward and look at actually putting those in. but I just wanted to ask a few preliminary questions.
Right, there's one instance where we're looking at a different arrangement where we have a more all-inclusive pathway that's 8 feet wide that includes both pedestrians and bikes. And that's at the other intersection with Bolton, which we have required from the mall when they do their improvements along Bolton Street.
Good to know.
All right, any further questions from the board?
Currently on East McFall, right? Yeah, on McPhail. West McPhail, we have sidewalks on both sides, correct?
Yes.
At least on one side, on the hospital side, correct?
Definitely on the hospital side. I'm just trying to think back to whether or not we have them. I believe we do have
Right.
sidewalks on the west side, or
So-
the north side.
Not completely.
No, okay.
It's not the complete run of Woodvale.
From
There
even,
are sections that do not have sidewalk.
even on the hospital side of McPhail?
Oh, no,
On the
that's,
hospital side, yes,
yeah.
but not on the.
On the opposite side, no, right, okay.
Yes.
So we wouldn't really need to make it would we need to go 8 foot wide to have both a walking and bike?
For that
if we have-
particular section, no.
Yeah, okay. 'cause
No,
we have-
I'm referring to a different
Okay,
intersection.
gotcha. Thank you.
All right, any further questions from the board? Anyone here that wishes to make a comment on this particular resolution? No? In that case, Mr. Kranz?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is for the vote to approve Resolution 1240-24, amendments to restrictive parking zones. Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar,
Aye?
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
Resolution 1240-24 is approved. Thank you.
Next is Resolution 1241-24, amending Resolution 1224-24, permit parking areas. Do I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I move that resolution number 1241-24, amending the town's parking by permit only areas be approved by the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Chismar. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. Mr. Small.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chapter 450-03, regulations of the town, Bel Air Town Code, authorize the Board of Town Commissioners by resolution to designate permit parking only zones within the town of Bel Air. Over the years, the town has established preferred parking areas that only allow parking by permit for the residences, and in some cases, the commercial businesses in a selected neighborhood. This revision to eliminate approximately 4 on-street parking spaces is to provide safe and efficient movement to and from the adjacent road, which is Broadway. Review of the intersection of Franklin and Broadway has revealed turning movement difficulties for vehicles due to parked cars. You've heard this before. On both sides of Franklin Street, this movement is especially difficult for emergency vehicles, refuse trucks, school buses, and snowplows. Adjusting parking along Franklin Street away from the Broadway intersection will address restricted turns while still maintaining approximately 14 spaces for permit holders on Franklin Street. Additional review will be done in the future to make sure the changes do provide the needed relief. Once the legislation has been passed, the parking signs will be relocated and/or curb painting will be done by DPW, and a letter will be sent to the permit holders informing them of the change. Staff recommends Resolution 1241-24 be approved by the Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you, Mr. Small. Any questions from the board?
So this, Kevin, this just dovetails with what's happening, right? So we've restricted parking on one end, and that's affecting where the permit areas will be. Is that correct?
That's correct. So you have, right now, permit holders have access to the whole, what would be west side of Franklin. So this would restrict back by approximately 111 feet those number of spaces. And then on the east side, there's not as much permit parking there. It's only a few spaces. Those aren't as affected as much.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Any further questions? Any member of the public wish to make a comment on this piece of legislation? All right, Mr. Krantz?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is for the vote to approve Resolution 1241-24, amendments to parking by permit only. Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
Resolution 1241 is approved. Thank you.
Next is purchase of the sewer pickup truck with the crane. Do I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I move that the bid of Apple Ford 8800 Stanford Boulevard, Columbia, Maryland, as provided to and accepted by Baltimore County, Maryland, for a 2025 Ford F-350 pickup truck with custom crane and other selected options in the amount of $101,095.30 be accepted by the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. Do I have a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Chismar. Mr. Klein?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Department of Public Works has determined the need to replace vehicle number 3, a 2014 Ford 250 four-wheel drive pickup truck. Vehicle 3 has 70,000 miles and approximately 13,000 idle hours. This vehicle is scheduled for replacement in this budget cycle as outlined in the Public Works Vehicle Replacement Schedule. The town has the opportunity to utilize the Baltimore County blanket purchase order for this acquisition. Funding for the vehicle has already been allocated in the FY25 sewer budget. However, a mid-year budget amendment will be necessary to account for the cost of the crane included with the purchase. This pickup truck is utilized daily by the sewer department and will be outfitted with a crane to assist in lifting and lowering heavy pumps at the town's pump stations. The staff recommends that the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners accept the proposal of Apple Ford as provided to and accepted by Baltimore County, Maryland, for a 2025 Ford F-350 pickup truck with custom crane and other selected options in the amount of $101,095.30.
Thank you, Mr. Klein. Any questions from the board? The only question I had, Mr. Klein, was delivery days, 300 days, that's what they're running now, 300 days out?
They've been putting that, but we've actually been getting them sooner than 300 days. Not only do we have to wait a lot of times for the actual vehicle to arrive here in Harford County, we have to then allow for time in having it manufactured, having the crane put on, and all the other selected options up at Moxley's up on Route 1. So that does sometimes take time.
All right, so you're not going to have this next week? It's going to take a
We are
little
not going to
while.
have it next week.
All right.
But we do push them to try to get them in as soon as possible. And things have been getting much better from 2 years ago when things were really bad.
Things were so bad a couple of years ago that even if you ordered it and hoped to get it in a year, you might not get it at all.
And
I
also
think that
have-
happened to the
And
police
also have to
department.
pay a little extra
And
when
have
you
to pay
got
a
it.
little extra,
Yep.
right, for the waiting time.
Yes.
All right. Any further questions for Mr. Klein?
I do, Madam Chair. So just to confirm, Steve, is first of all, the crane itself wasn't initially in the proposed budget, but that's an addition that's been accommodated for in our budget.
Yes.
Is that correct?
It will be accommodated
Yes.
through a mid-year budget amendment.
And-
What had happened, and there was a little miscommunication between the guys who were putting together the specifications for it, and we kind of missed it that they wanted the crane on it when we put the truck in.
And the crane itself, as you explained during our work session, this is really a huge boost because it does the heavy lifting of a very, very heavy pieces down there, and it reduces then the risk of injury to our employees. It's a safety factor, and makes the whole process go smoother. I can't imagine what the training would be of someone who's had to help out to lift such a beast out of the ground, sort of on-the-job training or whatever. So just thinking about that whole process when you described it, I thought this crane is an excellent move.
Yeah, it definitely is. The pumps weigh, between 2,500 and 4,000 pounds each. In the past, what we'll do, we'd set up a tripod situation with a tack and dolly on it and use a chain to pull it up with manual hands. Sometimes we would actually use a backhoe arm and try to pull it up that way. All not the best scenarios to have it done. This will definitely make it a more safe operation.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And there's not a lot that's more important to a town than getting their sewage pumped.
Yes.
All right, any further questions for Mr. Klein? Is there any member? Yes. All right, is there any member of the public here that would like to comment on this purchase? All right, Mr. Krantz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is the vote to approve the purchase of the pickup truck with the crane for Public Works. Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
The purchase is approved. Thank you.
Next, we have the Bel Air Police Department patrol vehicle purchase. Do I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I move that the bid from Apple Ford Lincoln, Inc. for the purchase of 3 2025 Ford AWD SUV police interceptors in the amount of $139,037 be accepted by the Board, Town of Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Rutledge. Do I have a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Chismar. And Chief?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The purchase of these vehicles will provide the Bel Air Police Department with 3 replacement vehicles, which follows our department's replacement schedule. The vehicle are police pursuit vehicles that are all-wheel drive. The new Ford SUVs will replace Car 30, which is a 2014 marked Ford sedan with 74,000 miles. Car 31, which is a 2003 Ford F-350. It's a previous command vehicle with 52,500 miles. And Car 39, which is a 2000 Chevrolet. It's a previous covert vehicle. 2 of the replacement vehicles are marked patrol vehicles. The third is an unmarked that will support a new command position that was created as a result of the FY25 budget. The previous Ford F-350 command vehicle was already sold, and the previous covert vehicle will be auctioned. The replaced marked sedan, Car 30, will be utilized as a spare vehicle due to the police department approaching fully staffed levels. An additional patrol position has been created due to the transition of the logistics and certification specialist to a civilian position. The town's procurement regulations allows for cooperative purchases, or piggybacking, with other public jurisdictions, and a copy of the supplier contract amendment agreement, which is current from this allied jurisdiction, which was awarded on competitive bids, is attached. Apple Ford Lincoln is the recipient of State of Maryland Contract 001 B-Boy 4600226, which is the contract for the government bid of law enforcement vehicles being used in this purchase. The bid expires on March 1st, 2025. There are sufficient funds available in the FY24 budget, $169,500, to pay for the purchase of the 3 Ford Police Interceptors. The staff recommends that the Board of Town Commissioners approve the bid from Apple Ford Lincoln Incorporated for the purchase of the aforementioned police vehicles in the amount of $139,037.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank
Any
you, ma'am.
questions for the chief on the board?
Chief, I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
So it looks like you're getting everything more or less standardized with a couple of these non-standard vehicles sort of passing out of your
Yes, sir.
fleet. Is this correct?
Correct.
Okay. And I'm just assuming that just helps across the board. If somebody's got to jump in somebody else's vehicle
Absolutely.
in an emergency, just the familiarity with it should be a plus as well.
Yes. And with replacing some of the older vehicles, we're getting more efficient in learning how to get rid of some of the older vehicles that were used for specialized functions, and we've partnered with other agencies to help us do that.
Thank you very much. And
Yes, sir.
thank you for doing the hard work on getting this competitive bidding, piggybacking and all that stuff. It's all good news for the town budget, I think.
Absolutely. Yes, sir, Commissioner Rutledge. Thank you all.
Any
Mr.
further
Richard-
questions?
Rutledge, I'd like to add, not only does it make it easy for those guys to translate into each other's vehicles, it really helps my staff down at the shop when we're working on the same vehicles on a regular day rather than a basket full of different type of vehicles. A lot of the vehicles are uniform. The parts are good. Our guys get a true understanding of how it's put together and how things need to be done for maintenance. So it helps out greatly in that regard as well.
Well, thank you for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, kudos to your maintenance people, because whenever we need a vehicle worked on, they're always there and willing to help. So I don't think they get a lot of praise, but
Good.
I appreciate their work. I really do.
Anything further? I have one question. 150 days ARO, is that when the 150 days you're going to be waiting for the cars, more or less?
I think it'll be less than that.
Okay.
As you just discussed with Mr. Klein, it's, the delivery time has gotten a lot better.
I wasn't sure what ARO stood for. I figured it's
Yeah.
gotta have something to do with the delivery time.
Area of responsibility, is that?
Okay.
No, I don't know if that's it or not, but
And I see you have two marked and one not, and the one
Yes,
not
ma'am.
is not gonna get the driver's side LED light lamp.
no, it's going to get the lights, but they're just going to be, it's going to be a little bit less, it's concealed, more concealed in that vehicle.
So the
Yes.
driver's side LED spot lamp is not going on?
No, no, ma'am, it is not.
The gray one,
Not on
okay,
that
so you
one.
could be a little more
Correct. Yeah.
undercover there
Yes,
with it?
ma'am.
Okay. No problem. And I learned something. I did not realize that our shop was doing the maintenance on
Oh,
the
they do-
cars.
they
That
do a
is
fantastic
another
job.
Another thing,
Yeah.
another feather in DPW's cap that they're doing that. That's great.
They get a little motivation with some donuts or some lunch money sometimes. And
It
helps
never
out.
hurts. It never hurts to show your appreciation. All right. Anything further from the board? Anyone here from the public that would like to comment on this purchase? All right, Mr. Krantz?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is to approve the purchase of 3 police interceptors. Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
The purchase is approved. Thank you.
All right, public announcements. October is observed across the nation as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. This is a time for everyone in the community to unite and show support for those currently suffering from domestic violence, those who have survived it, and those working to end it. SARC of Harford County, headquartered here in Bel Air, is hosting events throughout October to raise awareness of domestic violence and to raise money for the people that SARC supports. Visit their website or Facebook page for more information on events and the local businesses and institutions that are partnering with SARC this month. We are looking for a resident of the town of Bel Air who has a passion for local history to join the town's Historic Preservation Commission. This all-volunteer commission meets on the 4th Thursday of the month. The HPC's mission includes preserving structures of historical significance in the town and promoting interest in Bel Air's rich history. Visit belairmd.org to apply. Contact the town clerk at townclerk@belairmd.org with any questions. This particular position, the member must live within town and limits. All Town of Bel Air offices will be closed next Monday, October the 14th, in observance of Columbus Day. Residents whose trash is usually picked up on Mondays will have their trash picked up on Wednesday, October the 16th. Loose leaf and yard waste also will not be picked up that Monday. Bulk trash will not be collected on Wednesday of next week. The annual Maryland State Barbecue Bash, hosted by the Bel Air Downtown Alliance, is happening Friday, October the 11th, and Saturday, October the 12th, at 2 South Bond Street in Bel Air. Hours are from 4 to 10 p.m. on Friday and noon to 10 p.m. on Saturday. Visit the Downtown Alliance's website or social media pages for all the information you need on live music, the barbecue competitions, vendors, parking, seating, children's activities, and most importantly, weather updates. The Town of Bel Air, Edmonton Rec Chess Club, and SRC Technologies are hosting the 4th Annual National Chess Day Tournament Saturday, October the 12th, and Sunday, October the 13th at the Bel Air Armory. We will have one tournament for players who are members of U.S. Chess and another for casual players. Cash prizes are available for the top finishers in the U.S. Chess Tournament. Visit the chess page at emertonrec.com to register. Fees are $45 for the U.S. Chess Tournament prior to October the 11th and $50 if you register on site. The registration fee is $5 per person for the casual play tournament. The Tree Committee will meet at 4:30 p.m. on Wednesday, October the 9th in the Bel Air Planning Department offices at 705 East Churchville Road. The Appearance and Beautification Committee will meet at 7 p.m. on Monday, October 14th here at Town Hall. The Cultural Arts Commission will meet at 4 p.m. Wednesday, October 16th in the Armory Conference Room, and the Board of Commissioners will hold a work session at 5:15 p.m. Tuesday, October 15th in Town Hall, and the next Town Hall meeting will be at 7 p.m. on Monday, October 21st, also here in Town Hall. Did I miss anything?
I think you have.
No? All right. In that case, we now are at the public comment portion of our agenda where any member of the public can speak on any topic. Ms. Lucas. If you could just state your name, everybody knows who you are, but for those perhaps watching at home, for the record, as well as your address, and you'll have 3 minutes, of course.
Can do that. See if I don't start my time yet. I'm trying to get my hearing.
We won't start your time till you get yourself ready.
Good evening. Peggy Lucas, 516 Robinson Street, Bel Air. I have very recently paid my real estate tax bill, and I have some concerns about this Board of Commissioners fiduciary responsibility. In 2022, a petition, the stated purpose therein was to petition to referendum the rezoning of certain specific properties on Broadway and on Gordon Street, was circulated and signed by 1,051 persons, subsequently supplemented by another 926 signatures. The election board did not seek to verify the signatures were from registered voters. The election board, in considering the purported petition on May 25th, 2022, found that the document did not comply with the municipal charter and thus did not constitute a valid petition for referendum. November 2022, only a very, very few of those petitioners, actually only 13 people, Barton Bott and several other town residents, collectively referred to as Bott, filed suit in Circuit Court for Harford County against the town of Bel Air in a further attempt to overturn a portion of the zoning decision. Other interested parties joined in as interveners. Subsequent decisions, appeals, and cross-appeals brought the case to the Supreme Court of Maryland in their September term 2023. On July 9, 2024, the opinion filed by the Supreme Court of Maryland concluded that Bott is not entitled to a writ of mandamus or the permanent injunctive relief sought in the amended complaint. End of story. Except, throughout these lengthy legal proceedings, the town was ably represented by town council. Town council fees incurred as a result of this lengthy suit, appeals and cross-appeals, are not recoverable. However, the Supreme Court's decision stated costs to be paid by appellees. Those appellees are Bott, those 13 persons who initially brought suit. While those recoverable court costs are minuscule in comparison to the attorney's fees the town was forced to incur, I must wonder why the current Board of Commissioners has made no attempt to recover them. I say no attempt because I have found no mention thereof in any of the town board minutes, work session minutes, since the date of the Supreme Court decision. And I hate to say this, but recognizing that not all, but most of the current members of the board are on record orally and/or as signers of the purported petition for referendum, as a party to the suit. My question for this Board of Commissioners is to address, do you intend to seek the recoverable court costs, and if not, why not? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lucas. Is there anyone else here that wishes to make any public comment? No. In that case, we are at commissioners' comments. First, I'll go first. I would like to compliment Mr. Small on the tremendously successful Community Collection Day that was the third Saturday in September, like it always is, September 21st. I understand you ran out of room in the one shredding truck and had to get a second shredding truck to come. There was so much paper. So congratulations. I know you collected a lot of bicycles, a lot of eyeglasses, a lot of books, a lot of other things. I was sorry that I wasn't able to participate this year. I too have a lot of shredding, but I look forward to it as a household cleanout day every year, and I've marked my calendar for next year, so I'll be there. So congratulations.
Yeah, it was probably about 4 times what we normally collect.
That's
So
amazing.
That was,
Amazing.
I think it was because there were several advertising efforts out on the county and BG&E and us that helped out.
Yeah, and certainly to come and leave something and leave with some cash from BG&E was a draw. Also, the Employee Crab Feast was a terrific event, enjoyed by many, went very smoothly, so thanks to all that worked on that, especially to Kim, who was there like serving food, making sure everybody got what they needed. Congratulations, it was a great event. Any other commissioners wish to make a comment?
Yes, Madam Chair, I have 2 comments to make. The first is a hearty debt of congratulations to Mr. Klein, your DPW shop. Brian Mullaney, the other day, to set the scene, I had an encounter with him that was absolutely exemplary. I was driving home, actually after a ribbon cutting that was put on very well by the Economic Development Department, and it had been raining, and I discovered that about half of the intersection of Hall and Roland had been obscured by a great big branch that had fallen onto the street. And I drove past that branch at about 3 o'clock. I called the town administrator to let him know that it had happened. And by the time that I had walked back to the branch, Brian was already on the scene with his clippers personally in hand with the homeowner, helping to cut up the branches to make the branch smaller so that it could be properly removed. By, I'd say, about 4:30, I was leaving the neighborhood again. The branch was totally gone, and the intersection was completely restored. So that was exemplary service from Brian. DPW does a wonderful job, and I wanted to put that out in the public to know just how fast their response times are.
Thank you, Jake. And I just wanted to let you know, you let me know about this the other night, and I was able to touch base with Brian and let him know your sentiments. So I appreciate your praise on that. Brian, of course, has been with the town for over 40 years, a dedicated employee for the town. He is our operations chief, and he does lead by example. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. He is a treasure of the department. On a more somber note, I thought it was important to note that today marks the 1-year anniversary of the horrific attack launched by Hamas on the nation of Israel, which became the largest massacre of Jewish people since the Holocaust. And I think it's important that Bel Air redoubles our commitment to standing against hatred and terror, and that we proudly reaffirm that our community will always be both a safe haven and a home for our Jewish brothers and sisters. I know that tonight we had intended to get the folks from Harford Chabad in, and hopefully we'll be able to do that soon. We're certainly praying for Rabbi Cushy's family safety in leaving Florida. But today we pray for the larger Jewish community and human community that is truly appalled by these acts of terror. And I am proud that Bel Air is kept safe by a wonderfully professional department, police department. And I know that our community stands strong against hate, and I'm proud to call this place home.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. Well said.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I have 3 comments. First, I have appreciated the traffic control experiment at Gordon, Bond, Main Street, whatever we want to call the Bermuda Triangle of Bel Air. I think it's working great myself, you know. It's really nice to know you don't have to dodge anybody trying to, make some kind of crazy turn onto Gordon Street there. As far as the Historic Preservation Commission opening, I wanted to just, if everybody here can think of someone, that just has an interest in, the town, that's a resident of the town, has some interest in architecture or art or aesthetics. This particular opening does not require them to have, the degree, the specialty in architecture, et cetera, that the commission currently has, that complement of trained experts in that area. The commission works very collaboratively together. They're a very welcoming and open group, and so anybody considering it should not feel intimidated, by it. And you get to vote on the students and their drawings of the contest of the elementary school students, and I mean that's just great stuff. If you can think of anybody who's living in the town, think, hey, maybe they'd be interested in it. Please hit them up, and I think they'd find it to be really a fulfilling work with people who have great insights. I've been able to observe the commission, and it would be a great way to get involved in the town and serve the town. The third thing is I couldn't help but follow up on the fact that we recognize, Penny Gendra tonight and her maintaining, voting integrity here in Bel Air. And I just encourage everybody to vote in November or sooner. Exercise your franchise to vote here. That so many people have served and sacrificed to defend that right to vote. So just wanted to make that comment. Thank you very much.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I'd like to bring up something that I'd like to probably put on next work group meeting, at least to start a discussion on this. Because back in April of '23 was that Mead and Hunt had done a parking study. And I'm not sure, and but I remember going through that, I don't know if we really did much with that afterwards. I do remember the recommendations were saying that there's a lot of parking in town, and I just thought maybe we need to take a look at all the parking, take a look at that study, let's revisit it, see if there is any properties, maybe, let's start a discussion. Are there properties that we need to maybe sell, that, parking lots that we need to sell, or do we need those? It's just that I'm not sure we addressed that properly when that report came out in April of '23. So I'm just add that to the agenda. Maybe you can distribute that report or give us links to it. I found it online to where it is.
Yeah, that's, it is online. If anyone wants hard copy, I can put those in your boxes. if
Right.
you'd like.
And let's
Up
just
to you.
have a discussion about where we think, do we have adequate parking? Do we have too much parking? Do we not have enough parking? And see what,
Right,
we wanna do.
as I recall, you're correct, Commissioner Chismar, that they said we had plenty of parking, and I know the one parking lot that kind of puzzled me is I know the town had initially purchased the BB&T Bank building that was next to the sheriff's office, with a thought to moving Town Hall to Main Street, but that has not come about, and that, of course, is right in front of the parking garage. So do we really need that? It's been a question that's been in my mind, so maybe it's time to take a look at those things and see how many parking lots
Right.
we have that we currently still need to have, given that we got the giant parking
Right.
garage sitting there.
okay?
Anything
That's all.
else? All right. In that case, having reached the end of our agenda, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.